Yes, good morning. It is -1 Celsius outside today, and obviously I want to go out for a run. It's actually New Year's Day when I film this, so Happy New Year to everyone. But yes, I want something a bit more comforting on my run today because I really do feel the cold when I go out exercising. My hands get absolutely freezing, and I just feel like I need something a little bit sweeter, a little bit more cozy today. And when you think of that, when you think of this time of year, I always think the first thing I go to is chocolate. So what we are doing today is we are doing another fitness fragrance face off. We're doing the chocolate edition today, and it's almost two different nuances to this one essentially. One, we've got Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared. If you don't know what cacao is, it's almost like the early stages of when chocolate's made before it gets changed into more of a sugary sweet thing. Cacao powder could be quite bitter, and this is a bit more of a bitter chocolate essentially, a slightly more higher end expensive fragrance as well. And it's going up against this one today, Al Rahab Choco Musk. This is much more like cocoa powder, so it's been processed a little bit more, a bit more sugary, a bit sweeter essentially. This almost feels like you're just making a chocolate cookie. You're in that sort of process of baking it, stirring all the chocolate, mixing it in with cooking stuff, and then just essentially getting it ready in the bowl. This costs about £10. That's all it costs. It's super cheap. It's probably actually £5. It's nearer that. So very different in prices. £90, £5. And we're going to put them against each other today. What's better? Why is the better chocolate fresh? Which one do I recommend? Do I recommend spending a bit more, getting a bit more quality? Or do I recommend just getting something a little bit sweeter, a little bit more synthetic, but it'll save you? So if you haven't seen these sort of videos before, I'm going to do a morning workout. So essentially I'm going to go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while wearing these fragrances. We're going to do the 5 categories I normally look at. So we'll look at price / value for money. So again, I've already sort of half mentioned the price, but which one's the better value for what they're actually offering? Versatility is how much you can use those in different situations, not just obviously workouts, things like job interviews, date nights, all those sort of things that people care about. We're going to look at its projections, how much I noticed during my run. As you can probably see on my coat, there was some stains there earlier. I've applied the fragrances, which ones to project more. We'll also spray my room later to see how much it feels like the room. Look at compliment factor, which one do I think is going to be better for getting those compliments, which I know matters to a lot of people. And then it's longevity, where I'll spray Mars before I go to the gym. Obviously walk to the gym, do my gym work, have a shower, and about 3 hours goes by. We'll see which fragrance is the stronger one. So 5 categories, first to 3 essentially will be the winner, best of 5. And yeah, I think this could be a really close one. I really don't know which one's going to win today. But one thing for sure, I can certainly smell them at the moment, which is good because it's time to go out into the cold. So yeah, I'll see you out there. We'll do the first 2 categories, price / value for money and versatility. Who else has eaten far too much chocolate over this Christmas and New Year period? I know I have, and I get to the end of like a day of just eating chocolate and I'm like, oh, I don't think I can eat chocolate again, I'm sick of it. And then the next day I'm just back at it straight away, honestly. Quality Streets though, they are number 1. I've picked them over Celebration Heroes. Quality Street, you can't beat them, the green triangles. Anyway, enough about chocolate in food. We need to talk about chocolate in fragrances with these two. So Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared and Choco Musk by Al Rahab. So, which one do I think is better value for money? Well, as we mentioned earlier in the price you would have seen, I paid £90 actually for Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared, and Choco Musk you're talking £5-6, and you can probably get 2 50ml because they come in 50ml bottles for these ones. For about £10-11. So at face value you're going to say Choco Musk is undoubtedly better value for money. It's so cheap, and you could get, it's essentially a tenth of the price, isn't it? But then I think when we look at price, and I always say this, we've got to be looking at scent quality as well here. Does Choco Musk smell like an expensive chocolate fragrance, or does it smell very synthetic, very cheap? It smells very cheap and synthetic. If I'm being honest with you, it probably smells around that price range. I certainly wouldn't want to be spending, if it was £20 and up, I'd say forget it, I'm not really interested. So it's clearly a cheap smelling fragrance in that sense. Now on the flip side, Maison Tahiti Cacao Square, more of a bitter chocolate. Do I think that smells higher quality? Absolutely. That being said, does it smell 10 times better? Does it smell really natural? It does smell quite natural, But I've done a review on this one and it's very harsh on the cinnamon. The cinnamon takes over here. And I think where people got a bit confused with this scent is it is cacao. It's meant to be more bitter. And I think when people are looking at chocolate fragrances or cocoa-based fragrances, they want something a little bit sweeter. And that's not what you get with this, not at all. So it's really a balance here. Do you go for scent quality or do you go for price in general just because it's cheap? For me here, and I'm going straight down and I'm trying to be as honest as I can, I don't think Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared is 10 times better. I really don't. I think it's quite harsh, quite aggressive. And for me, when again I think of chocolate fragrances as well, I normally like things a little bit sweeter. And I've had a compliment, I will talk about compliment factor, but I have had a compliment on Al Rahab's Choco Musk. And I think that just for me has tilted it just in its favour. So the first round I'm going to give to Al Rahab Choco Musk. Anyway, we're going to go on to Versatility next. It's so dark. I don't think the sun has woken up either. It's deciding to have a lion like everyone else. As I said, it is New Year's Day today. And I did plan to see in the new year with the fireworks and everything, but I made a mistake. I went to bed early, sort of 11:15. I thought I'd sit in bed for a little bit. That's always a mistake. Fell straight asleep and I slept through to the time I got up this morning about 5:10. But it is very quiet. It's 7:10 and it's nice to get out running. But anyway, on to versatility. So how much can you dress these up, dress these down, different ages, different occasions, different seasons? Well, I'm going to go straight in for this one. I think Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared wins this round. And this is where I think scent quality takes over here. You know, when you look at it, it's definitely more sophisticated, it's more grown up, it's a bitter chocolate, as I said. And in terms of occasion, in terms of dressing up, look, I wouldn't dress either of these scents up because I don't think chocolate is a scent I really want to wear for a suit or tie or anything like that. But because it's a bit more serious, less sweet, it's definitely the one you'd pick because it's got that classiness. And that's going to appeal more to older people as well, you know, an older gentleman, an older woman even. I think they're just going to appreciate this scent more because of that refined quality. And the other thing with Choco Musk, it's definitely a sweeter, more cosy scent. It's more of a cocoa, not cacao type fragrance, a bit more sugary. It has that Middle Eastern Arabic vibe because that's what it is. So even a younger person who might find this one more wearable, not as in your face, not as aggressive, it still has that smell of something that's not quite in line with what you'd smell in a Western culture living in the UK, US, all those sort of things. And I think it will still be, even though it's quite cheap and it's a chocolate scent, I think it's just going to be that little bit divisive still, even for that sort of person. But neither of them are gym scents. I wouldn't wear either for a job interview or anything like that. It purely just for me just comes down to the fact it's a bit more quality, a bit more sophisticated. And look, you can still wear as long as you tone your sprays down with it. It's a strong fragrance, Cacao Squared, but if you tone your sprays down, you can still wear this. Look, I wouldn't wear it anywhere near a hot day, neither of them. But 1 or 2 sprays in a climate controlled environment in the office, it'll be fine. It's not my choice, but you know, go for it. It's still a nice gourmand scent, and it's still one that has its place somewhere. But it is aggressive. You have to like cinnamon. As much as I'm saying this is a chocolate round today, you've got to like cinnamon. But yeah, for this round, just purely on the fact it's more grown up, it's more sophisticated, I'm just going to say it just leans a little bit more versatile for Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared. So when we get back, we'll talk about projection. How much am I noticing the fragrances during my run this morning? Workout done. Yes, I know my hair has gone wild like Marge Simpson, but I'm going to ignore that for a second. It's time to spray my room. So we're doing projection now. So I'm just going to do 5 sprays of each fragrance. And essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to go downstairs, have a cup of tea in a minute, and then we're going to talk about how much I noticed the fragrance during my run. Then when I come back upstairs, we'll see how my fragrances have essentially filled up the room. Has one filled up the room more than the other? So if a colleague came in or someone at home, if you're at home, would they notice the fragrance essentially? In the meantime though, it's just about 9:04. Well, it is 9:04. I'm going to spray my arms on both sides. I'm going to do 3 sprays of Cacao Squared on this one. And then I'm going to do 3 sprays of Choco Musk on this side. And this is the test for longevity. So essentially what I'll do in 3 hours time when I leave the gym after my shower, we'll talk about how much I noticed the fragrance. Has it survived the walk, the gym, and the shower? And then we can give a score on longevity at the end. So yeah, let's get downstairs, have a cup of coffee, and we'll talk about projection during my run. Oh, I love coffee. Honestly, if it's a choice between alcohol and coffee, coffee every single day of the week. Honestly, I love it. I can't get enough of it. So anyway, projection during my run. How much did I notice the two fragrances? Well, again, it's really cold out there today. And I did notice Cacao Square. Now, not as strong as I normally would because this is really heavy. And I've done reviews on this before. It's so strong sometimes on a workout, on a run, that actually normally you get like, with a general spray, you just get a waft of it and then it goes. This one will just stick for like 10 seconds. You're like, I need to clear it because there's like no oxygen in the air. Choco Musk, I didn't get anything. Again, indoors, I think it would have been a different situation. Obviously, I'm doing the gym later. We'll see how much I noticed it then. But it wasn't super strong on either case. So the Choco Musk at the moment is not winning this round. There's no two ways about it. And I don't expect it to win the room spray test here. But again, is that a good thing with this fragrance? Is that a good thing with Maison Tahiti Cacao Square? Because it is very aggressive, very heavy. You might worry that you offend people, but we will see. I'll see when I go upstairs, see how much I ever fill up the room essentially. Let's hope Choco Musk can surprise me. Again, it's a sweeter fragrance, and I always say sweeter fragrances stick in the air more, so let's hope it maybe proves me wrong. But let's finish this drink, head upstairs, and then I'll give a score or a winner on projection. Okay, then it's time to head upstairs, and we will see how much we notice the fragrances. Nothing from the top of the stairs. Oh, okay, I've not got to my room yet. I can smell Cacao Squared by Maison Tahiti. So it's going to win this round. I already know it. Yeah, without a doubt. Now, I would say with this one, look, it is brilliant for projection. Longevity, we'll see later on. I've had a bit of a mixed bag with that one. But tone your sprays down. If you want to wear this one to the office and you really like it, just tone your sprays down. I've worn this for work before and it's been too aggressive, too heavy. And I've not had any comments on it. And I know people would have noticed. I know people would have seen the fragrance, or certainly detected the fragrance, I should say. It's so strong. And it's not, I said, this is a chocolate fragrance. It's the bitter chocolate you do pick up, but the cinnamon is really heavy in this. And it's just overpowered the sweetness that you're going to get from a Choco Musk. It's super aggressive. You can tell it's a stronger fragrance. And as I said, as long as you tone your sprays down, it can be quite pleasant. But just be aware, this might choke you out more than anyone else. And it does get to that. At the end of the day, I never would wear this one back-to-back days. And I think that says to me it's quite heavy. But it can't fault it. It wins this round on projection. So what we're going to do, walk to the gym now, and then I'll talk about compliment factor. Any experience with compliments with these fragrances? Which one do I think would be better if we're picking one just purely on compliments? Okay then, so compliment factor. So which one do I think is better for compliments, and have I had any experience of compliments with either fragrance? Well, let's go straight into it. I'm going to give the winner here to Choco Musk. And the reason that is I have had a compliment on this one. And it was actually at school. When I was working in a school, I went over to a photocopier to do some sort of, well, some printing essentially. I was doing some worksheets. And one of the other TAs, she came over and she said, well, it smells really nice over here. And she didn't know who it was. She never specifically said it was my fragrance, but I just knew it was based on what she said. It was like sort of chocolate powder. And that's kind of what you get with this one. It's like a sweet, sugary chocolate powder with a slight Middle Eastern vibe. You definitely get that Middle Eastern feel. But when I've worn Cacao Square, and I've worn it just as much, I've never had a compliment on this one. And it's just aggressive. You don't feel as comfortable wearing it because it's more of a bitter chocolate. It's not one you'd associate with compliments in the same way. When you think of gourmand fragrances for compliments, you think of those ones that are a little bit sweeter chocolate, sweeter, more vanillic notes, and that's what you certainly get with Choco Musk. And for that reason, the fact it's so much cheaper as well, and it's not as strong. I think the Cacao Square, look, normally I'd say stronger the better. I love Beast Motors, but in this one, I'm not sure it is. I wish it was a little bit tamer, certainly just toned down on the cinnamon. And look, Choco Musk, it's not a real strong projector. I think it's one that's actually just stays on your clothes more than really kicks off you. But I think if people are close by, you've been sitting in a room, or like I was essentially, I was sitting in a room for a little period of time and then I moved. Someone will pick it up if you walk by, and it's probably one that you don't notice as strong as other people because you've almost been immersed in it for a while. And yeah, I just think for that reason, it's not as serious, a little bit more relaxing. And I think for yourself, as much as anything, you're just going to enjoy it a little bit more. And again, I've got family members to smell both of them. My brother's had Choco Musk plenty of times, and he's happy to spend a lot on fragrances. And he's never liked Cacao Squared, and it's very rare for me to not like a fragrance the more I've used it. Normally I find with scents they grow on me over time, or I just love them straight away. Cacao Squared's one I've really struggled to love, and I've not worn it at all this winter. It's cold weather, and I've never reached for it. And you'd think for a strong sort of gourmand type scent, chocolate scent, you normally would. So for that reason, I've got to give compliment factor here to Choco Musk. Of course, if I ever get a compliment at the gym, and as we know, Cacao Squared's certainly stronger, it will be more noticed in that sense. Will obviously change the result, but for now, it's looking like it's going to be a decider on longevity. So yeah, what we'll do, we'll head to the gym. Got to be quick today, it closes at 12 o'clock, so yeah, very quick workout, head back, and then we'll give our score on longevity. The workout done, no compliments, but as I said, it's New Year's Day, it's pretty quiet here. I have to say, they're not gym fragrances at all, but because it's freezing, and to be honest with you, it's not much warmer in here. It's actually quite pleasant. Now, I'm actually getting more of that cacao now from the Maison Tite. This sort of cinnamon spice is wearing on. It's still spicy, still aggressive, it's still certainly not a gym scent. But as long as you get your sprays right, I only put 3 sprays on my arm today. It's okay, it's just less is more with this one. Choco Musk, again, that nice creamy vanilla, more type chocolate, more like I said, you're sort of baking cookies essentially. But that one's getting a little bit weaker, but still very pleasant. But it's time for a shower now, then we'll give a score on longevity after. Okay, it is 11:52. I think this is the earliest I've left the gym in ages, isn't it? I didn't want to be that awful person that when they're closing at 12, here at like 11:59, not there on the start. So let's smell my arms anyway, see which fragrances survived the shower. So that's Cacao Squared. And that's Choco Musk. Well, there's a clear winner here, and I'm absolutely not surprised. One, because it's probably higher quality oils, and two, because it's just so aggressive. But Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared, it's probably 95% as strong. This is a fragrance, again, I go back to it. If you don't like this is going to be quite hard to rub off. It's very strong, very aggressive, and it will last 2 days. It would be a 10 out of 10 for longevity, let's put it that way. Choco Musk is about 20% there, it's not as strong. And yeah, unfortunately, it cannot compete in this round. This was probably the most one-sided round of the day. And that means overall, Maison Tahiti won 3 rounds and Choco Musk has won 2 rounds today. But I don't think there's a real winner with this one. I think it's really down to you now. This is down to what you like. For me personally, the fact that Choco Musk won on the price, because it's super, super cheap, and it's certainly not 10 times worse in terms of scent for me, and its compliment factor, they for me are probably the 2 most important rounds when I'm looking at chocolate as a fragrance. So, you know, what do I want it to be? I want it to be a compliment getting fragrance. I want it to be good value for money, because normally winter gourmands can be expensive. And I just think it's just a bit more wearable in that sense. It's a little bit easier. I feel more happy wearing it around other people. Look, it doesn't have the versatility in the sense it's not sophisticated, but I don't think there was a huge difference there. I don't think you know, some people will definitely say Choco Musk is more versatile because it's a little bit lighter. I just think it's a little bit less grown up, and because it's a Arab Middle Eastern type fragrance, that's the only reason I didn't pick it. But on another day, I could have gone for another answer. And then projection, longevity, well, if you're spending £90, you should expect a little bit more projection, a little bit more longevity. So for me, it's what you like, really. It's what you want. If you want strength, spend a little bit more. If you want a little bit more quality in that sense as well, spend a little bit more. But if you're buying a chocolate fragrance for, you know, you just want something to throw in your bag, or you just want something that you think is going to be a little bit better to get compliments because it's not a bitter chocolate, it's a little bit more cozy, a little bit more comforting, Choco Musk would be your winner today. So yeah, that is the overall scores. I think they're brilliant scents. I think both of them, what I'd say, look, they're not my favourite chocolate scents in the world. I think Greedy Chocolate Greedy by Montal's a brilliant fragrance. And even though I don't think it's got chocolateness to the note, I think the Sierra Madre Amen's definitely got that chocolatey gourmand vibe. A bit more of a milky chocolate that I really like. And personally, I'd rather wear that than both of these. But yeah, chocolate scents, two definitely to consider. And they certainly, as I said, whether I buy them again or I don't, they're ones that I won't forget for different reasons, because they definitely have their uniqueness and their own little benefits inside. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. And, yeah, there'll definitely be more face-offs. I should be getting my clone phrases tomorrow, so yeah, cannot wait for that. But anyway, I'll catch you later.